Okay. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the day 3 of
everyone.
our data analysis with Power BI. So a recap of what we did yesterday. So yesterday we were exploring our data. Day one, we declared our problem statements and prepared our data and also transformed it, which we now in day 2, we now explore the data to see the insights which we can get. And currently now on the canvas, you can see some of the insights we have already had. You can see that in terms of, so let me just clear this. Let me go this up. Okay. So now generally we can see that our organization of Van Hasdel is having in all countries is having the highest market share in USA, followed by Australia, Japan, then also other countries. So we can also see that we have a higher revenue in 2021 compared to the last 2 years. We also have the sum of revenue which we have made. That is total revenue in the last 3 years. Then we can also see our growth here. Our previous years is our percentage sum of revenue and also the sum of revenue. So these are the sum of the insights which we got yesterday and we're going to be including in our report. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be just like customizing our visuals and make it more presentable for the users. So anybody that's going to be using the dashboard or the reports, so the person will be able to interact easily with this particular report and be able to get findings from it. So first of all, we'll be starting with our matrix. So these are our matrix where we have the sum of revenue, percentage grand total sum of revenue, previous year sales, and also percentage growth. So I'm going to be filtering now Australia and 2021. So I'll click on Australia, then also hold my control on my keyboard and click on 2021. So by clicking on this now, you can see that the values here have already changed, showing us our the percentage growth which we have. That's for each particular category, and under each category, we can see for each particular segment too also. So currently now what I want to do now, I want to make sure I want to sort this by the growth. So I'm going to be clicking on these 3 ellipses here, more options, and I'll go to sort by. So I'm going to be sorting by percentage growth. So percentage growth. So it's already sort by percentage growth now, and it's already what sorts by descending. So which means we have the higher values above, then we have the lower values below. So now let's also check for that of extreme. Sorry for removing the filtering. So let me check for that of extreme now. I'm going to on my drill mode and click on that of extreme. So now we can now see that, okay, our maximum UE04 has the highest percentage growth under the extreme segment. So now once anybody that is going to be using this particular report or viewing this particular report, so we want to add a conditional format in the sense that anybody seeing this report will know from the colors that, okay, these are the products with a high percentage growth, and these are the products with a lower percentage growth. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to my percentage growth and click on this drop down. So you can see an option here, conditional formatting. So you can apply various conditional formatting here. You can see background color, you can see font color, you can see data bars, you can see icons. So I'm going to be applying that of background color. So when I apply that of background color, I have a window popping out. So which is showing me, I can customize the colors which I want it to show. So I'm going to be adding a middle color so that we have values which are not high and not low. These are like values that fall along the average. So I'm going to be having them as I'm going to be adding a middle color. So a middle color is going to be representing those values. So I can change the color of those values if I want to change it by clicking on this drop down. I can also change the color of my maximum value here. If I want it to be another color, I can also change the color in this place. So most of the times we can have lower values as red. So you can leave lower values as red. You can now see, so the higher the value, then we can see that the higher the value, you can see also the higher we go across the colors. So the highest value is going to be having blue, while lower values are going to be having red. So we can leave it as this. Now click on OK. So you can now see what we have now. So you can see that the maximum UE04, which is having the highest growth percentage, is having blue color. Other values are also having somewhat like an orange or yellow color. Then we have lower values having red colors. So see, these are the lower values. So this is not just the only type of conditional formatting we can apply. We can also go back and click on this. You can say remove conditional formatting, and I can remove all the conditional formats I've already applied now. So what if I want to apply another type of conditional formatting? This is data bars. So also have font colors. If you don't want the background color to change, you can also give it based on font colors now. So just the same thing I did in background color, except this time around, I'm going to be customizing the color of my fonts and not the color of the background. So You can now see it now. You can customize also the color of the text instead of the background. And also you can also apply both of them if you want to apply both of them. So you can see it here. You can also apply background color. So you can see it now. You can apply two if you want. So you can apply more than one conditional formatting. You can apply only one conditional formatting. So I'm just going to be removing all this. Remove all. Then also we have data bars too also. So data bars allows you to be able to it formats your cell so that you can see it based on data bars. So we have a positive bar. If in situation where we're having negative values, you can declare the color of a negative value in this place. So if I click on OK now, you can now see that I'll be having data bars. So the higher the value, the longer the bar I'm going to be having here. So I'm just going to leave it back now. We also have other conditional formats which you can explore, but I'm just going to be leaving it now as a background color. I'll go back and apply that of the background color. I'll add a middle color and give my minimum value as red. Then okay. So now I've already applied our background color on this particular matrix. So the next thing now we're going to be doing, we're going to be also be customizing this particular card. So now we'll be changing this from the card visual. Now we're going to be using a gauge visual. So I'm going to be using a gauge visual. So what I want to do now in this gauge visual is that I want to be able to see my sum of revenue, and also I want to be able to see my sum of revenue for last year. So that means anytime, like now, currently I'm on Australia in 2021. So I'm seeing my sum of revenue. Then I also want to see my targets. So that is, okay, what did I have last year? Was I able to meet that target, or I was not able to meet that particular target? So now if you want to customize this visual now, you just go to the format your visual icon, you click on it. So you can see here now, you have various options which you can use to customize your visuals. So this is the data labels now. If I'm to off these particular data labels, now you can see some of those labels that we're having here becomes hidden. So we also have the target label too. If I'm to off it also, though I've not given the target, that was why it's not showing. So let me give the target, my gauge axis, sorry. I'm going to give my target color as black. So for us to give our targets now, I have to go back to the add data to your visual. We have the option here, target value. So I'm going to be giving my target now as the previous year sales. So this is the target here. So this is the value of the sales I made in 2020. Same also, if I have to click on 2020 now, I get the target as the sales I made in 2019. So you can see now, currently now we have already met our target as of last year. You can see that this value here is also similar or the same thing with the value that we're also having here. So this is the value of last year. So now let me just go now and customize this target. So this is the color. I just change it to black. So you can change it to also any color you want, but we're going to be leaving it as black. We also have our data labels. If you want to customize your data labels, so I'm going to be leaving it as 10 because we're going to make it small. I'm going to be leaving it as 10, and I'm going to be changing the color to black also. So I'm going to be changing the color to black. That's for the values. Then also these two, the values of the targets, I'm going to be changing it. I'm going to be changing the font size to 10, and also the color, I'm going to be making it dark. So now there are also other customization which you can make on top of this gauge visual. So I'm just going to be leaving it like this for now. So I think the data labels, let me see if I've changed the color to black and the title has got as this. Okay, we're going to be leaving it like this for now. So you can also explore other options of customizing this particular gauge visual. So next now we go to the sum of revenue by country visual, which is showing us the revenue by country. So that is, well, this it shows us the revenue our organization has made in each particular country. So currently now I've already on a filter on. That's why I think it's for a particular product in this place. So let me just on this drill mode. So now we have what the total sum of revenue, the total sum of revenue by country. So we don't have any filter on. So we're going to be customizing this graph. So currently, I can see that the units are in billions. So we want to make sure we make it in millions so that it will be easy to read. So anybody that's going to be reading these visuals will be able to read it. So I'm going to be going to format your visual. So anytime you want to format a visual, any visual, this is where you go to. This build visual allows you to set the options on your visual, the legends, your labels, that's the axis, the values your axis is going to be using, or the columns your axis is going to be using, your measures. while your format, your visual allows you to be able to customize your visual. So this is where you change colors, you change fonts, you change the text type, you change other things too like that. So there are a lot of options under the format of your visual. So now I want to be changing this particular unit. So I'm going to on my data labels. So these are my data labels currently. As I said, now you can see they're in billions. So I want to make it in millions so that anybody that sees it will be able to know, will be able to, it will be easy to communicate to the user instead of leaving it in the billions. So I'm going to click on this drop down. I'm going to click on values. I can see display units. So I'm going to be setting the display units to millions. So when I set the display units to millions now, you can now see that, okay, I'm having the clear values. And it's also easy to understand now. I can know that, okay, in USC, I'm making 326.8 million. In Australia, I'm making 181.82 million and so forth. I'm also going to be changing the colors of the columns. So this is my columns. I click on this, I'll change the color to gray. I'm going to be giving it a gray color. So you can see now I already have a gray colors to all my columns. So you can also customize a particular column too also by clicking on the show all. So if you don't want to change the color of all the columns, let's say I want to change only that of USA, since USA is having the higher value. So I can just give it, okay, let me just say that of Canada. Canada is having the lowest value. So I can just change the color to red. So anybody seeing it that, okay, this is the country having the lowest value. I can also customize that of USA too. I can give USA, for example, a blue color. So I can say, okay, anybody that sees this will know that, okay, the country with the highest revenue is USA, while that with the lowest revenue is Canada. So I'm going to be removing this though, but giving it back, I'll be going to show all. Okay, let me on it back and up that of Canada. Give it the gray color. So I'm going to off it. So if you want to customize your columns, this is where you go to. We also have other options too. Plot area background. You want to customize the background of your plots. You click on here also. If you want to customize your zoom slider, so if you're on it, you're going to see a zoom slider showing. So if you want to customize this too also, you click on this particular place. So there are a lot of options which one can explore. Even the grid lines too also that are showing. Most of these grid lines here, you can see it's currently showing as a dotted line. So if you also want to customize it, so you can see it has already changed to a dash line. So these are things that one can explore under the format of visual. And every visual also has its way of formatting, just like the way we did for that of the Gauge visual. So now I'm going to also apply the same thing also that I did here for the sum of revenue by country to sum of revenue by year. So sum of revenue by year, I'm going to be changing the color also to a gray color. The columns, I'm going to be changing it to a gray color also. So you can see I've already changed the columns to a gray color. And now I'm going to be including all the years. If you checked here in the one we filtered for the previous 4 years. So now I'm going to be checking for all the years. That is all the years that we have in our data. I think that is starting from 2015 till date. So now I'm going to go back to my transform data. So now this is the filter which I applied. So I'm going to be clearing the filter. Click on clear filter. So by clicking on clear filter now, it's going to remove all the filters I've already applied, then close and apply it. So this is going to take a little bit of time.
Okay.
So now I've already cleared all the filter we had earlier on, which was for the past 3 years. So now by clearing the filter, we now have data for 2014, including the past 3 years, which we are visualizing earlier on. So you can see that in all the visuals, the Power BI has already updated everything. So you can see that also if the price have been updated, we can see also the number of years have also been updated. Even the years here have also increased and have also been updated. So now this is a sum of revenue by year. So we also want to see our growth too by year, because it's possible a particular year might have a high sales, but we not have a higher growth compared to another year. So it's possible now, for example, now the growth here might be high. The sum of revenue here might be high, but the growth will not be high compared to another year. So now the visual I'm going to be using now is going to be the line and stacked column chart. So I'm going to change it to the line and stacked column chart. And under the line and stacked column chart, you can give an option for another measure here on the line y-axis. So this is your line, and it's just like we're having two charts now in one chart. So we have our stacked column chart and also have a line chart also. So we're going to be displaying the growth on our line chart. So I'm going to be bringing the percentage growth to the line y-axis. So you can now see now how our growth now look like all over the years. So you can see our growth. So we don't have data for 2022, but we are seeing our line chart now extended to 2022. So we are going to right click on this place. When you now right click, then you now click on exclude. So you can now see that what this has already excluded for that of 2022. So you can now see how our growth has been looking like from 2014 to 2021. So just like what I was saying now, you can see that though 2021 is having the highest revenue, but the highest growth rate was recorded in the year 2017. So this is one of the advantages of displaying your growth with your revenue also. So a year might have a high revenue, but the growth will not be high compared to another year. So now we'll change the color of this growth. That is this line. We're going to change it to a darker color. So I'm going to go to my format visual. So format visual, we go to lines. So this is lines. Then you can see colors. Then we can change it to a darker color. So now we have a darker color as our sum of revenue percentage growth by year. Okay, so now back to this. We're already done with this now. So we go back now to our slicer. So this is our slicer. So we want the slicer to be displaying the logos of each particular organization, since we already have the data for their logos, which is under the manufacturer. When you check the manufacturer table, so you can see the URL to each organization's logo. So this is the URL. This is the URL to it. So now we'll go back to our report. So first of all, we need to change our slicer to a tile. So I'm going to go to format visual. So we're already on format visual, then slicer settings. Then I'll click on this tile under this tile option. I'm going to click on this drop down. So I have 3 options. I can either make it a drop down or a vertical list. So a vertical list, I'm going to be having a slicer like this. So you can see I'm going to be having a slicer like this, or I make it a tile. So a tile, I'm going to be having a slicer like this. So I can just adjust the size. So the slicer is responsive. So this is my slide. Okay, let me just reduce it a little bit. So, okay. So now this is my slicer now. I already have all the organizations, which I'm my top competitors, and also our organization, which is Van Hansdale. So now the next thing that I'm going to be doing now, I'm now going to go to my manufacturer, then click on this particular logo option. So you can see that this logo option now, we have the data category. Currently now it is uncategorized. So we want Power BI to detect the value as a URL so that it will be able to update this particular slicer. When we bring it into the slicer, it's going to be displaying the logo for us. So I'm going to change the data category to web URL. Then I'm now going to go to my format your visual, then remove manufacturer and bring in logo. Still load. Sorry, I think it should be image URL, not web URL. So data category is actually image URL, not web URL. Sorry. So this is also going to load. It's going to take a little bit of time. So you can see now we have the organizations which we have. We have Purom. You can see the logo of Purom. And we also have that of our organization of Van Hasdel, which is this. So you can see this is the logo of Van Hasdel. So this is it. So that of Kuros, I think, has already loaded. Okay. And that of Aliqui has already loaded. So now let me just reduce this a little bit so that to be able to see our budge. Just going to reduce it a little bit. So now I can also change the theme of this particular page. So I can change the theme. When I go to my view tab now, so I have various themes which I can apply on. So there are various themes. We have light themes and we also have some dark themes. So this is one theme. I can click on this theme and it's going to change all the colors that I'm having on my visual. So you can see all the color. You can see it has already changed the theme. Though I'm still having the colors I have on my column charts. I'm still having the colors I have on my column charts. I'm also having the colors I have on my gauge, but it already changed the background color for me. So these are how various team works. So it depends on the team or the organization is using. So the organization can provide you with a team. So if the organization provides you with a team, you can just go to browse for teams and load the teams from here. So now I'm going to be going to the team we have, which is so this is the team that we have for the Van Hasdel. I'm going to be loading it. So this is Van Hasdel team now. So this is the team they have. I can also see that even this color has also changed too also. So this is the team that we're going to be using for the particular organization. So next to also, we can import a background for our canvas. So we can import a background for our canvas so that we'll be able to lay the visuals in the right places. So, but before we do that now, let us on our grid lines and also on our snap to grid. So make it easier for us to be dragging the visuals to a particular place. You can see that some grid lines are showing. So these grid lines allows you to be able to align various visuals together. So now I'm going to click on my empty canvas. I'm going to click on an empty canvas. Then now you can see I'm going to be importing canvas background. So I'm going to click on browse on that image. This is on that canvas background. Then I'm going to go to where the background is. So this is the background we are going to be using. You can see we already loaded the background, but we are not seeing it. So why is that? Because our transparency currently is 100%. So we need to bring this transparency down to 0%. So you can now see our background in the back. So that is our background at the back. So now this is going to be taking our logo. Here we're going to be writing the title of our page, and then we'll now start laying the visuals in various areas in the background. So now I'll also be inserting my logo. So I'll click on the insert tab. Insert tab allows you to insert items. You can either insert a text or insert buttons, insert shapes, insert images. So our logo is an image. So I'm going to be clicking on image under the insert tab to bring in our logo. This is the Van Hasdel logo. So this is it. So I'm going to minimize it and make it fit to this particular area. Okay, so now we already have our logo feed here. So now I'm now going to be putting also our title in this place, which is a text. So I'm going to click on text box under the insert tab. So it allows you to be able to input a text in your page. So I'm going to be typing manufacturer analysis. So this manufacturer analysis, I'm not going to highlight it. Then change the font to Saggy Bold. And I'm also going to change this to 20. So I'm going to change it to 20. So I'm going to reduce this like this and put it here. But you notice now, you can see that the background is white. So this is because when you go to effects now, you can see that transparency is at 0%. So I don't want to have any background color. I'm going to make the transparency 100%, so there's not going to be any background color. Then I'll now change the color of this particular text by clicking on this text color, change it to white. So I'm going to click on this drop down and change it to white. So you can now see currently it is white. So I'm going to adjust this here. I'm going to click on this and adjust it at this place. So I've already laid this particular graphs. So now also, I'm going to be reducing this graph a little bit and bring it down. So I'm going to be putting this graph down, drag it here and put it down. Then also we have this at this place. So this is spot for the sum of revenue by country. So I'm going to reduce it and also drag it to this area. Then also have the sum of revenue and previous years. This is our gauge visual. I'm going to reduce this also for it to fit to this particular place. So I'm going to fix it there. We'll leave the slicer. So we need to reduce the slicer also a little bit. I'm going to bring this to also here. We'll just reduce it a little bit. I think this okay like this. Okay. Then I can now make this to be in this place. Sum of revenue by growth by year. I think, okay, let me just put this in this place. Okay, I think we'll make it like this. Okay. So now we'll now bring this to this particular place, sum of revenue and percentage growth by year. Okay. So now we're going to now be adding a custom visual, which you don't have. So you have the opportunity. This L3 ellipsis allows you to be able to get more visuals, either online or import a visual from a file. What I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to import a particular visual now from a file. It's a play button, allows you to be able to play a particular category on your page. So import a visual from a file, play axis, this is it, open. So you can see now the visual is already shown below. So most of the visuals imports are going to be showing in these particular areas, while all these other visuals are the one provided by Power BI. So this is one I'm going to be applying now. So click on this. Okay, sorry. I'm going to click on an empty canvas, then click on the visual. So this is it. So now I need to give the field which I'll be using on this particular visual, which is my year. So I'm going to be going to the date table, and under the date hierarchy, I'll be selecting year and bringing it to this particular field. So you can see it now. So I also need to check whether the interactions with other visuals is on. So I'm going to go to my formats and edit interactions. So you can now see that I'm having the interaction on for this, but not for this. I'm going to on it. Also, I'm not having it on for this. So let me also check for the other visuals and see if they are interactive. Okay, this is also interactive with others. This also is interactive with others. This also is interactive with others, and this is also interactive with others. Okay, so now we just off the edit interaction. So anytime I click on this particular play button, you can see it's going to start from 2014, show you all the details of the visualization in 2014. So click on it again. So you can see 2014. It's going to be showing it year by year. They're going to be seeing the details of each particular year. So it's going to be interacting with all the visuals and show you for each particular year. So now I'm going to be customizing this visual also. I'll go to format your visual. Then under the colors, I'm going to on show on. So it's now going to become more colorful. So you can see it now. The visual is more colorful now. So you can see that the colors of some of the icons in the visual has already changed. So that's it for the play axis visual. So some of these visuals, you can see a lot of them from the Get More Visuals, which is online. When you go to Get More Visuals, you see visuals created by others. If you feel like using a visual that is not available in Power BI, then you can just go to Get More Visuals and get them. So this visual is actually was gotten online, it was downloaded online. So it was we imported the file using import a visual from a file. So now the next thing also we'll be applying now. We're going to be applying a smart narrative. So a smart narrative is a text automatically generated by AI, by Power BI. So instead of just typing your narrative, Power BI will just automatically detect the narration you have in each particular visual and show you. So I'm going to be selecting each visualization I have. So I'll use the shift button to select each visual I have. I'll use the shift button to select each particular visual I have. Then I'll now come here and click on Smart Narrative. So you can see Smart Narrative is creating the narrative for me. So it's going to take a time. Okay, now, so this is the narrative already. So you can see now I already have like something like a summary of all what I've already done. So instead of typing it myself, okay, that's this year we have a growth of something like that, the AI in Power BI automatically detects that for me. So you can see some of revenue trended up. So these are all informations which it has already summarized for you. So now we have for a summary of all the visuals in our page. So the sum of revenue and PYC, sum of revenue in my country, revenue growth sales by product category. I also have sum of revenue and percentage growth also by year. So all of this information are already summarized in this particular smart narrative. So now what next also want to do now, we also want to add a bookmark. So a bookmark allows you to create a story of your data. So instead of maybe, for example, now a user is going to be selecting USA to see the details of USA, Australia, Japan, you can actually create a story of your visual so that you usually be able to interact with that particular bookmarks. So now I'm going to go to my view, and I'll click on bookmark so that so as to open this particular bookmark pane. So now the first bookmark is going to be our initial state, which is the state in which we are not applying any filter on this particular page. So without any filter applied, this is our initial stage that I'm now going to click on add, and I will double click on this to rename it to initial states. That is my initial state. Then we now know that the country with the highest sum of revenue is that of USA. So when I click on that of USA, you can see every other value in my visual is going to change. So I'm going to click on that of USA, and I'll click on add. And I'm going to rename it to USA revenue. Double click on it. USA revenue. So I'm already done with that of USA revenue. Okay. So now the next I'm going to be doing that of Australia. So I'm going to be adding a visual. Click on Australia. Okay, sorry, let me delete. I'm supposed to click on Australia. So I'm going to click on that of Australia, then click on add revenue. So this is going to be for that of Australia. I'm going to be renaming it to Australia revenue. So the reason why I'm doing this is that, okay, we want the situation whereby anybody that clicks this can see as I'm clicking it now, I'm able to get that, okay, at the initial stage, this is the way the page looks like. At USA revenue, this makes it much more easier. That this is the revenue of USA. I can also see the values of that of USA, the growth of USA. I can see also for Australia, this is how that of Australia to also looks like. So this is one of the advantages of bookmark. But you want your user to also be able to interact from it on the page. So we're going to be adding bookmark buttons. So this is where bookmark buttons comes. So first of all, I'm going to click on view. You can now see I'll now click on exit. So at view now, I can be able to see each particular bookmark by clicking on these navigation icons. And I'll now click on exit. So I'm now going to go to my insert tab. Okay. Not the smart narrative somehow gone. So let me create the smart narrative again. Go to click on this, click on this, and also this smart narrative. So this visual now, this smart narrative now depends on all these visuals. So anything you change, this is also going to change. So now let me create buttons for my bookmark. I'm going to click on insert. So on that buttons now, the buttons icon, I'm going to see navigator, and we have bookmark navigator. So automatically now Power BI detects that, okay, we have 3 bookmarks which we want to customize. So I'm going to reduce the size of these bookmarks to be able to fit here. So I want them to be able to fit in this particular place. So anytime the user clicks on any of these buttons, to be able to change the state of the graph of the page. So I'm now going to go to shape. So now I'm going to be changing it to a rounded rectangle. So we have a rounded rectangle now. Then I'm going to go to style. Style, I can change the color. Sorry, okay, under field. Go to change the color from white to a lighter blue. You can see I can also increase the transparency a little bit. So you can see I've already changed, I've already customized the color. I've also customized the particular shapes. You can also perform other customization on your bookmark. So for a user now, user just have to click it. But you see when you click it, nothing changes. So for you that is designing the page, you have to hold Control, then click it. So when you hold Control and click it, you can see that it is changing. And also when I hold Control to click on that of USA revenue, it's going to show me that of USA. When I hold Control to click on that of initial state, it's going to show me that of the initial state. So for you that is designing the reports, you're going to be holding Control to be able to change the states. While for the user, it's just going to click it without needing to hold any control button. So this is it for our visualizations. This is it for our page. We already customized our page based on what the organization is requesting. We have their logo already there. We have the title there also. And we also have our slicer, which is even showing the logos of each particular organization. So we can see our competitors, and we can also see our own organization too in this place, which is Van Hansden. So currently now we have all the details set for that of Van Hansden. So this dashboard now gives us a lot of information. We can have information of that of Puron. We have information of that of Natvia. We can also have information of that of other organizations. So, and if we also want to have information of all the competitors together, so you can just hold your control button and be clicking on each particular competitor. Then you get the details of all the competitors together. So this can give you a general information of all your competitors. So you can know what is their target what is the target of the competitor, and also how much and also their growth too in the previous years, which you can also compare with yours and see where you are lacking in your business. So this is all for the reports. So what is left now is just publishing and reporting. But publishing and reporting will be going to be covered in a paid class, which is going to be coming, God's willing, by March. So how you can share your reports with the management, because they're not actually going to be, you're not going to be sharing the file with the management. You have to share it on Power BI online, that's on the server. So the management will be able to, anybody that wants to view that particular page will be able to view it and also interact with it. And also you can also check for the performance of your dashboard, because sometimes when you have a lot of visuals on your dashboard, the visuals are likely to be taking time to load. So these are kind of things that one should also take note when creating reports. So when you have a lot of visuals or you have sophisticated visuals, anybody that's trying to view it on the server online is going to be taking time to load and also taking time to interact with that particular report. So this is all for the class. So just a brief summary of what we have done so far. We had a problem statement. A data analyst has to have a problem statement before engaging on any work. So what do you want to arrive at? What is your goal? What is your target? Then you also have to have your data and also prepare that particular data. But most of the times in the real world, this data, they don't come clean. So they come messy and they come dirty. It's your work to clean this data, transform it into the right format, which you'll be able to work with. Why we also explore the data. So we need to explore that data before creating visuals. So you try a lot of visuals, which visual is giving you more information, which information are you actually interested in, because it's not possible, we have a lot of columns here which we did not use. So it's not all the information you'll be putting on a particular report on a particular page. So you have to know what are your KPIs, the key points indicators which you are interested in or the organization is interested in. Then you also analyze that. Then you now start customizing the visuals based on what the organization wants. So organization have their colors, their logos, and they want this to be on their reports. Then you put those on the reports so that it's going to fit the organization's demands and organization requests. So I don't know if there's any question or any observations, comments. I'd like to listen to it.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Edwin. Like I said, it's been an awesome journey.
Thank you, Mr. Malakai.
Yeah, so I just wanted to just maybe say a few things.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, but I believe we have maybe different levels of trainings, as it were.
Yeah.
But I was made to understand that for optimization purpose, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to do your data transformation on the Power Query editor before bringing them into the Power BI environment.
Yes.
So that it helps in, like you rightly said now, your loading of your data, because at the end of the day, when you check the level of performance, that's using the performance analyzer, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see what portion is taking more time.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
So exactly. So there was the process you did yesterday, the concatenation using DAX. Using DAX. So for me personally, I would have preferred doing that on the Power Query editor rather than using DAX to do that. Yes, I would have preferred doing that concatenation process using DAX. I'm sorry, on the Power Query editor rather than using DAX. But for every other DAX measure that you did, that the calculated column, creating the previous year sales and every other thing, I think for me that's perfect. Like it's very okay. So that's the only area that I just have a little concern with. But I think aside that, everything is okay by me. And trust me, you did a very, very good job.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's true. Creating calculated columns usually reduce the performance of it.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm sorry, please, one last thing. I don't know, are these videos going to be available?
Yeah, they're available on our YouTube channel.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
So maybe I can follow and just maybe watch them again. Just like I said, for me, it's like a refresher.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for being with us throughout.
It's a pleasure.
Really appreciate your presence. Thanks.
It's a pleasure. Trust me, it's a pleasure. So I don't know. You said other classes would be during the paid session or so. So does that mean we're ending our class today, or
we're
meeting
ending up
tomorrow?
today.